Alright, finally, welcome to the final stages of the mentorship program. I want to encourage you and advise you, particularly for this particular book we are going to use. I need you to understand that this book is really insightful and helpful. I read this book when I was much younger, and it has helped me over the years. So don't forget that we have spoken first of all about finances, we have spoken about relationships and influence, and then finally we have to look at what matters the most. That is our faith and the things that matter to us. The final book we are going to use is titled The Final Quest. The Final Quest. Why this book? Okay, you may be wondering why I selected this book, because this book basically focuses about visions, somebody's interpretation of many things. But I think that the message inside there is very profound, it's very helpful. We can use it extensively in our personal lives. Now, this book was written by Rick Joyner, and it makes us understand that he had series of visions. Rick Joyner is also a prophet of God, okay, who God gave a lot of visions. I'm not going to talk about who a prophet is and all those things, but I'm just going to briefly mention some few things. Now, he made mention of the fact that there are two ways in which God will definitely speak to us, either through the prophetic experience or visions. If God is going to use the prophetic experience, you realize that they are diverse, and there are a lot of them you can see in the scriptures, ranging from Samuel and many other prophets. Now, when it comes to the visions, we have the impression level of the vision, we have the conscious level of the vision. The impression, sometimes you have an intuition and just have a feeling that there is something that God wants you to do, or there is a message that is coming across to you. And then you just pick it up and you move from there. Sometimes you can also have revelations, understanding of things, and things that affect your feelings and the rest. And you must appreciate the fact that revelations will definitely be limited to your background, your understanding, and your impressions of life in general. But the impression, I think, that just hits you, and you feel like moving in a particular direction or doing some things in a particular way. Now, bear in mind that in Ephesians 1:8, we need to understand that our eyes must be opened. And every Christian must desire to hear from God, must desire to see God, must desire to be able to analyze things that come from God. And above all, just hear from God. Okay, and one important thing that we need to know is that the devil can counterfeit all these things. So all these things we are doing, there are counterfeits. That's why there are false prophets, there are true prophets. And I believe that Rick Joyner is one of those prophets who have spoken profoundly. And let us be humble enough to appreciate the fact that he is not saying these things to exalt himself, but to exalt Jesus. And that is one of the reasons why I believe this vision so much, because it makes a lot of meaning to me, and a lot of things are in there. Now, I've recommended The Final Quest to a lot of people over the years, but they start and they'll be like, oh, we are not understanding, we are not getting the ideas, we don't know what it's talking about. So the videos I'm going to do are going to guide you in that aspect, so that as you read, you'll be able to tell what he's trying to say, you'll be able to get an idea. I'll try and give you practical life experiences, because visions are subject to your interpretation. But as much as possible, I will try as well to narrow the interpretations to the book, so that it will not be like I will give interpretations that will go out of range or out of proportion. And God is still speaking to us. God is still speaking to us. So, my dear friend, you can hear from God, This video has something to do with being a Muslim, being a Christian. It has everything to do with understanding. So make it a point to grab something from this series. Now, I want you to appreciate the fact that we are going to learn many new things and many dimensions of stuff. And also, it's going to be very, very long. I don't know how long it will take, I don't know how many videos it will take, but as much as possible, try and follow. Alright. One thing to also remember is that the prophetic is not intended to establish doctrine. That's one thing you must understand. That it is just revealing the present or future or God's strategic will or the will of God for the time. It is not to establish doctrine. It is not to confirm that, okay, this doctrine is correct or not. Alright, I will end here. Thank you very much. Let's meet down the series.